Tarbes, situated at the foot of the Pyrenees in southern France, and the starting gate for the National Flying Club's 2012 Grand National. This year, the honour of first open fell to Mark Bullard from Harlow in Essex. Flying 588 miles, Mark clocked his Pigeon champion legacy at 10:55 a.m, but was then in for a long, painstaking wait, as Mark was well aware that birds flying further had plenty of time to catch him. One such bird was a pigeon by the name of Wingdown, bred and raced by Alwyn Hill of Ilkeston in Derbyshire. Wingdown is equally a champion, having flown the distance of 676 miles from Tarbes no less than 4 times with the National Flying Club. He has scored 7th Open 3,808 birds, 4th Open 3,290 birds, and this year finished second to champion legacy, taking 2nd Open 2,808 birds. These, my friends, are truly Premier League fanciers. My advice is sit up and listen up.
Right, okay, the race is now over. The cocks have been left with the hens till the following day. I'm now going to take the hens away from the cocks and just show you where my widowed hens are housed. In here is a cock. He's been to Tarbes twice. He was my 4th pigeon this year from Tarbes. He's a lovely pigeon. I think he was about 82nd Open this year. He was, I think, about 500th Open last year. He's a 3-year-old, and obviously he will be one of my pigeons for 2013. He's a grandson of first International Barcelona. The hen he is paired to is a granddaughter of second International Barcelona. This was the same race where his mother was from a fancier who won the International, first Dutch National. This was from a fancier who won the Belgium National but finished second International. So I would be quite hopeful that the pigeons from this pairing would produce me something nice. My hens aren't housed very far away from widowed cocks. Years ago I used to believe that hens needed to be kept further away, but now I don't. So basically they're in an aviary in front of the loft. I just have a flap here, the hen has been taken away and in she goes, and that's where my hens stay until the following week. I was saying now we'll take Wingdown's hen away. As you can see, a lot of these pigeons are very calm in their attitude towards both their owner and environment. I like pigeons that are very quiet. They don't get stressed in the basket too much. Again, another hen out into the aviary. This cock in the bottom, he was bought as a stock pigeon. He's a direct son of the Smaragd, 5 times Primus inter pares, and this is a half-sister to Wingdown. Again, I would hope to get good offspring from them. He's been very unfortunate, as the fact is Wingdown has beat him home for 2 years running. Last year he was 22nd Open from Tarbes as a 2-year-old. This year he was 26th Open from Tarbes. He was also 14 hours on the wing as a yearling from Saints, as all my yearlings have to go to Saints, 501 miles. And again, he's a pigeon earmarked for Tarbes 2013. I also find with the introduction of a nest ball, it motivates the cock. He knows that the hen is then coming. My nest balls, you can see, I don't use nest felts. This is a bit of carpet. I also paper the nest balls over. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it suits me and it suits my system. I think the pigeons are happier on this, as it's not a cold clay feeling. This is one of my racing sections. This is the section where my Tarbes pigeons come through. 12 boxes in here. There was 11 cocks in here at the beginning of the season. 7 have returned from Tarbes this season. This is the box where one of my champion pigeons is, a pigeon called Wingdown. He's with his hen at the moment. He's been with us since this morning. We'll let him out now and you can have a look at him. I think Wingdown is a very special pigeon. The hen that he's with at the moment is not bred by myself. It's a daughter of Brian Shepherd's Barcelona national winner, a 5 times performer at Palamos and Barcelona. Maybe you can see there Wingdown, as you see his wing drops down now occasionally. He's a habit with this particular pigeon. He is a very placid creature, as you can see. He doesn't get stressed out. For me, the ideal type of pigeon for long distance racing. Some of you may not be aware, but Wingdown has flown Tarbes 4 times. As I said earlier, every pigeon in my loft has to go to Tarbes from 2 years on. In 2009, when Wingdown was a 2-year-old pigeon, he recorded 2nd section 7th open. The following year I sent him to the International. I suppose rather stupidly he didn't arrive on the 2nd night, which was winning night, and I didn't bother having my clock read off, but he was there first thing on the 3rd morning. Anyway, 2011 he was sent back to Tarbes again, and this time he recorded 1st section 4th open, and this year he's gone back again. I should also say that was with a early morning liberation. He was recorded at 7:25 the following morning. 2009 was an afternoon liberation and 2012 was an afternoon liberation. In 2009 he returned at 2 o'clock after a 1:45 liberation. In 2012 he returned at 1:25 after a 1:45 liberation. A slight improvement. Maybe I should have a word with him and tell him to get his finger pulled out for 2013. But I think Wingdown will be retired after this season. As you can see, again I repeat, a very placid pigeon. I'm sure he's a pigeon that a lot of people would like to own. He was bred the very first year that I returned to the pigeon sport, 2007, after I'd been around the continent scouring for very, very, very good long distance pigeons. Wingdown is the result of a cross between the Diddy bloodlines of Joe Vandenbroek and Emile Denise Jermaine Imbrick pigeons. They're pigeons that I've put together that suit me. That is one of the reasons he's paired to the hen he is at the moment, because I like to prove pigeons at 700 mile are multiple performers. The father of Wingdown is a son of First National San Sebastian, but he also scored for 5 consecutive years at that race point. That particular time that he was paired to a hen that has got 4 times on the International Barcelona result. That is a hen which is a granddaughter of a hen which was 7 times on the International result from Barcelona. So as you can see, when I spoke earlier, horses for courses, Wingdown is bred to do the job. I just hope now that I can put him in my breeding loft and breed a type of pigeon similar to himself. And I'm going to show you his right wing, where we had a slight mishap before racing started this year and he broke one of his flights. This caused me a little bit of concern, as the aerodynamics of a wing are obviously very important. maybe you can see here is where the flight was broken off, and I took the flight, inserted a steel needle in it, and with the help of some super glue inserted it into the base of the blue feather, and kept my fingers crossed that it was all okay. It seemed to do the job. This happened before Wingdown's prep race from Fougères, 320 mile, and as he came through that okay, and he obviously came through Tarbes okay. That feather will not be pulled, it will be left there until he molts it naturally. You can see the pigeons now wanting to have a drink, having been with their hens for a few hours. I think Wingdown is possibly the best pigeon in Europe at the moment, with those 3 performances that he has achieved. He also scored in 2010. I sent him back to Bordeaux, which is 570 miles. He was the first pigeon back to the loft on the next morning. I think he was 70th open, flying with the Midlands National Flying Club.
Here's me Tarbes national winner, 2-year-old checker cock. He's bred out of my old distance family, which has been passed on from my dad. I can trace these pigeons back to the 1950s, and they go back to the original Westcott pigeons. My dad won Thurso Combine in 1975 with a pigeon called the Owl, which was timed in after 15 hours on a wing, and was the only bird home on a day after 15 hours. Out of 5,700 pigeons. This pigeon here goes back to that line. This pigeon's father was a very good pigeon for me, a pigeon I called Die Hard. That pigeon won the Fed 2 years running from Thurso, 500 miles, in very hard races, and was twice third combine Thurso, and was a Hall of Fame pigeon. Die Hard also bred me a Berwick Combine winner, and was also the grandsire of my London Classic Tarbes winner 3 years ago. On the dam side, the dam is bred out of another Hall of Fame pigeon for me, a cock which was 10th, 17th, 26th and 32nd Combine Thurso. So this pigeon is really bred for the distance. Not a big pigeon. Some of my longer distance pigeons are longer casts than this, so he's not quite as long. Very lightly framed, never puts much weight on, very easy to condition. When I sent him to the race, he had dropped 2 flights. I think he's dropped 3 now. I find quite often that when I have good performances from the distance, they have dropped 2 flights. So I think 2 flights is probably when they do get their super form. As you can see, this pigeon has got a big step on his last 4 flights. I know a lot of people do go by that. Personally, I don't look at the flights, I don't look down the throat, I don't look at the eye, although everybody does like a nice eye. My biggest belief to win the long races is the bloodline must be right. A week before the Po National, I put this perch in the loft. I've read about it before and always thought about doing it, but I've never done it before. But anyway, I put it in a week before the National, and since I've put this perch in the National, in this very sort of 8-foot section, I've been first National Tarbes, first and second BBC British Barcelona Club National Fougères. I've won the club twice inland from Poole, including First Federation, and then just last night from Bergerac, 480 miles, I timed the cock in here after 13.5 hours for a provisional 16th Open. So whether it's anything to do with the perch, I don't know, but it's certainly not done him any harm.